There was a guy who just moved to New York, and I don't know. I feel like when I get nervous when I see someone who's like good looking and like funny. So I was trying to be funny with them, and then the first thing I said to him was like, "Hey, do you know how to read?" Just flat out. It still hasn't proved to me that he knows how to read, but you know.
Please clap.
You know, it's funny because your Instagram is Sarah Amy Harvard, but when I first...
Sarah My Harvard?
No, I thought it was, I was like, Saraha, my...
Does it look exotic?
Yeah. No, it's just like, what is this weird name?
Fuck you.
Where are you from, Sarah?
I'm from Chicago, Chirac, bitch.
Nice. Where did you...
Or where am I really from, is what you're asking.
That's not what I was asking.
That's what you're asking. If you guys are wondering, I'm half Moroccan, half Japanese. Came out like Mexican Lizzo.
Nice.
Chorizo.
Chorizo.
So good. Okay, sorry. It's my own joke, and I'm like, it's so good.
Yeah, no. Listen, this pod's about you, so you can say what you want. Do what you...
Okay, here's what I think about queers. Just kidding. No.
Wow.
Don't do that. Here's what I think about...
Well, you're technically queer.
Yes.
All right. I saw your TikTok comments.
Yeah,
I don't want to...
It's different being, I guess, like a white... I mean, I'm not white, but like... I try to be, but I'm not. But it's different being like a person of color who also identifies as queer, and like a white queer woman.
Sure.
Because I feel like they oppress more than they are oppressed, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to get canceled.
Yeah, I listen. I don't want to have an opinion either. I guess I'm also not queer, so I have no idea. Yeah. But
a lot of queer people like you. The way we're using queer, is it fucked up?
I'm not queer. I don't know.
No, but the word queer, is that like a slur now?
Crispy's leaving. That's how pissed he is. He just took the headphones off. Like, I'm done with this.
Let's experimental. Can we scratch for 5 minutes?
So
where am I really? You said where I'm from.
Yeah. You're from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We moved here when?
September 11th, not the 2001, 2015.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Different era. Yeah.
I don't know why I had to tell you the date.
Imagine moving in on that day. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, it's a party.
Wow. That would be the
Project X.
There was people that moved in on that day, though.
For sure, 100%. But.
That's cool. And then what else did I want to ask you? Oh, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's our podcast.
No, so I met you because you produce a lot of open mics, and so I went to one of your open mics, met you there. Became friends after you were called a slur on stage.
Yeah, someone called me the sand N-word.
Yeah.
And I was really mad that I can't even say my own slur. Like, that's how mad I wasn't mad at being called that. I was mad that I can't say that.
Even tell people about it. Yeah. And you produce the Heckle mic, which, TikToks about it have gone viral, but it's a fun mic where the comedian on stage is allowed to be heckled and mostly roasted. Like it's not like, that's a bad premise. It's
someone called Sean the other day that his face looks like Squidward's house, and that fucking kills me. I'm sorry, Sean. It's not the Roast Sean podcast, but
no, the comments they get me too. I got the lips, our chaps
chap
Are they chapped right now? Are they really? God damn it, Chris.
Yeah.
That's part of your job to let me know, guys, because
It's all good. Can we zoom in on that?
Dude, the comments will let me have it, too.
That's terrible, though.
Does
Everyone says, like, oh, you're fat. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I decided to eat like this.
Well, that's all they have. Like, that's all that's how great you are.
Thank you. I am pretty great. I just know, like, in the 1800s, I'm Bella fucking Hadid, so.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, it doesn't, but thank you for saying that.
I think it was more like medieval time. Yeah, it was like a sign of wealth.
Yeah, they'd be sucking my titties for sustenance.
Right. But, maybe the pendulum will swing back that way.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully Monsanto takes over and Coca-Cola, and I'm
well, how'd you start the Heckle mic?
So it's kind of funny. I always liked heckling, and I try not to, but I like it, and I like roasting people. And in comedy, especially as comics, they don't like getting heckled and stuff like that. So I wanted a space where I could do that and also have other people do that too. But the problem is that it was supposed to be about heckling your material, but now everyone's like, you're ugly, you're fat, you're this.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not what it's supposed to be. But honestly, I kind of like how chaotic it is now.
Yeah.
Like it's a fun, safe space to like not be afraid to shout things.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I feel like we got closer together by like kind of just experiencing our own flaws and like just being vulnerable around it. And I also feel like it helped my self-esteem and also hurt it. But I feel like before I was so scared about getting called fat or chubby and all these things, and now I own it because I hear it all the time, and like found a way to make it funny, empowering, and also like hit back at bullies too, or
That's
like
sick.
the roast. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too because it's like this weird community of people that like during it, it's like you can anything for them like within reason goes. People say shit where you're like, oh, that's messed up, but like we know that in the room it's fine, and then once you leave, it's kind of like, all right, stop saying like no, and people are.
I still sometimes say shit to you.
yeah. Well, you know that
Well,
I
we're
don't
friends.
care.
Yeah, we're
but
friends.
yeah, and it's like a cool place to like get to see how people see you, I guess. But like, Crispy's just fucking with that.
It's funny your name is Crispy because my dad. Sorry to interrupt. My dad speaks. My dad's Moroccan, so he has an accent, and so he can't pronounce certain words correctly, or he has like he doesn't understand like how to say some names. So former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, he calls him Chris Crispy, like Krispy Kreme, and that's
awesome.
What made me think of you. I'm not saying you look like. I'm gonna shut up. You're very Italian. That's really cool. You should be. Okay.
You're heckling Crispy now. The heckle bleeds
cool.
into other aspects of your life.
It's contagious.
It seems like you have shows every night now, right? You're getting up a lot?
Yeah, Thursday I have 4. I think almost 5.
Whoa.
And then in July I had 37 shows.
What's the secret to getting them?
Be funny, Sean.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Also, I don't know. I have like a hard thing, so I feel like being a funny comic and also having a hot show is kind of like when you're in high school and you're like, or middle school, and you're a girl and all of a sudden you got big tits and everyone's noticing you. They don't know how to act.
The same with having followers.
You have followers?
No, but...
I feel like your followers troll you. They're not there to support you.
Well, I was talking about this with... Who was I talking about this with? Frankie last night. I did his pod, and I was saying how... Like, because he was like, oh, do you ever get DMs from girls? I'm like, my videos aren't, like, sexy, Like, it's not like I would save a chicken or something.
Well, that's funny, because I said he was hotter on...
the internet.
TikTok.
You said that to me, yeah. Well, because I was like, especially like when I first met you, I mean, I'm still nervous on stage, but I was especially, and I'm like, we're on TikTok. I'm like, guys, you need to do this. Yeah.
But also, like on stage, you have notes, and the notes will like fall over.
Yeah.
And then you always forget things. And he always comes with like 10 backpacks.
Yeah, that is true.
Each one has a gun in it. I don't know.
Nah.
So sorry.
That's okay. All right, we'll end it here then. Just kidding. Does producing shows suck? Like, is that hard to do?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
You get a lot of people every week.
Yesterday wasn't that a lot, but it's also like vacation season right now because summer is about to end. It is hard. You do a lot of, like, what's hard about it is like you're spending a lot of money to like pay the pro comics for the marketing. And I'm also like buying a band and all that stuff is pretty hard. But I think the hardest part is the social dynamics of it all, because then everyone wants to get on your show and you're friends with everybody and they like will get offended if they're not booked yet, and that's kind of like hard to deal with and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't know. I have a hard time saying no to people or like rejecting people, but there's a lot of comics who aren't funny. And I don't know how to be like, yeah, you're not ready yet, because I feel like a dick if I say that. But
Right. That is an interesting dynamic to have to tell people.
That's why I never... I was going to be a dick to you, but I'll hold it in.
You never... Well, you had me on a show, but I had to ask. Yeah,
that's why I never really reached out.
You haven't seen a good set from me in a while.
No, I have. In DC, you crushed.
Oh, okay. Well, you saw me bomb. You saw me bomb first.
So one time I was headlining a show in DC, and I let Sean open for me, and it was all... Apparently, they were all lesbians in there. I don't know that.
Well, it was like a ladies, it was like a queer show.
It wasn't supposed to be, but it was a...
They were all nice to me. They were all nice to me.
Except for that one bitch. But what was so funny, though, is the girl who went first bombed, and Sean's like, yeah, I got this. You were like, yeah, I got it.
I like going up when people don't do well.
Because I'm like, you're going to do much better.
Yeah, I did it. If anything, you did worse than her.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. I'm like, I brought this dude here.
Oh, my God.
But it was cool. I mean, I think I did pretty well, so...
I wasn't there, but I bet you did.
Appreciative you were.
No, they were eating for me. That's what it was.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that sucked. But DC was cool. We went to DC.
Yeah.
And we...
the cigarette story?
Oh, yeah. Well, first, yeah. You told me... Because originally I was supposed to go for like 3 days of shows, and I only had one, a Saturday. You're like, come on, Friday... so you could meet people at night.
Yeah.
And then we were having a fun time. I drank a little.
He drank a little, and then I thought because you always smoke weed. And then all of a sudden, we're outside this comedy club, like one of the best comedy clubs in DC, Hotbed. And then you were just like, I gotta sit down. And he looked all emo. And I was like, what's going on? Are you okay? I feel sick. And I'm like, did you drink a lot? No. Did you smoke a lot of weed? No. Did you take any drugs? No. It's the cigarette.
Yeah, it was a cig.
Fucking
It's
pussy.
because I never smoked cigs, and I was a little drunk because I would love one. I smoked it from the front to the back, like
Yeah.
the whole thing. Nicotine poisoning.
And it was funny because like, other people were asking, are you sure you didn't drink a lot? No, it's the cigarette. Like, you want people to know that you were a pussy. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Listen,
was so funny about it.
whatever. You know what? We get a story. This is what, and then I was just
Yeah,
sitting
like
at the bar,
this. He took a photo like this, ironically, and then we had to do it again for real.
Yeah, because it was a genuine. But DC was cool.
It was a cool spot, yeah.
I went, and then I felt better by the end of the night, and I was super drunk, and I rode a scooter to the White House and back. I literally just went. It was night. All the lights were off. I was like, whoa. And I was like, all right. That's like,
high as fuck.
yeah. But it was cool. Like, I got pretty close to the fence. I'm like, I could hop this fence. Like,
You really could, yeah. And also, Joe Biden's gonna die anyways.
well, I told my dad that on the phone. He was like, they'd shoot you before you hit the ground.
Oh, that's not
or,
true.
he said, you'd be dead before you hit the ground. I'm like, I don't know about that. I feel like I could get pretty close up.
Yeah, you're pretty good at, like, I don't know, running away from things.
Oh, okay.
Like, a lot of your problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. I love how I roast you and keep saying sorry afterwards, but I don't learn from it, so I keep roasting you back.
That's cool. My bag was stolen at your show.
Really?
Well, it's funny. It's it's this guy that reminds me of Roey, but he's got long hair. He like talks just like Roey, looks like Roey even. But anyway, he came up to me. I was like, "Oh, where's my fanny pack?" And then he came up to me, drunk as shit. He was like, "Yo, is this your bag?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I took it. I found it. I thought it was a cool bag, but then I found your AirPods in and it has your name on them, so I came back."
So you admitted to stealing it?
Yeah, and I was, and
No, but not the Sean Malay.
yeah, I didn't know what. I was like, did he just think somebody lost it or something? It was like he
That's
was drunk as shit,
wild.
but I was like, I'm too nice, so I was like,
Yeah.
thanks, man. And then I'm like, why did you not just say, oh, so you like stole it? You know, like I didn't know how to. I'm not good at like
Yeah.
confrontation, but I was just like, all right. But now I'm talking about him on the pod, so
Yeah, you should find out who it is and tag him in it. Do I know this person?
I'm not sure.
Okay, probably don't. Then.
He's nice enough otherwise. But,
Is he hot? That's an important question.
I don't know.
I love how you had to think about it, and then you said, "I don't know." Is it because you don't want to be seen as gay, or you really don't know? if
No,
it's
I had to
okay?
think about your type of guy.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Yeah.
I like a lumber. My biggest like, oh my god, what's so hot is when a guy can do a finger skateboard.
Oh, really?
That's so hot, and they can crush a beer, chug a beer in 10 seconds, and then slam it against your skull. It's so like
That's hot to you.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what's up with that, but
Yeah, that,
skate park, I guess. Monster Energy.
that's what I like in a woman too. Yeah,
Who's
Kyle.
Kyle?
You know Kyle, like the Monster Energy kind of type, or
Okay, I did. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Also, a lumberjack would be nice, like a guy from Nebraska or Alaska. You know, like
Yeah.
they like kill a fucking bear for you. You know, they drink whole milk with every meal. You know, They're
who
just
does?
People
Oh,
from because you're so buff.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. The guy last night. Oh, sorry.
Why did you do that? Can we not?
Oh, well, not talking. Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
What was your Hulu credit?
Oh, so I was on this TV show with a bunch of other comics. It's called Eater's Guide to New York. There's a bunch of comics. We got Korean barbecue, eating, and then like basically we're showing around New York what we do after like shows and stuff. But it was like cool to hang out with like other comics and like riff with them. What sucks is that they're all more famous than me now.
Yeah.
So like whatever.
Well, you got time. I mean,
Yeah, I'm the only one without a podcast too, though. So that's probably it. I think. We
Yeah.
need one more podcast out there.
Yeah. Well, do you think so? My one credit I've been using. So Mark Norman let me film for him for 5 minutes on a
Yeah.
show once. So I'm like, you maybe say that I opened for Mark Norman once, but like, I feel like to be like that might suggest that I'm the guy that because like he's got a guy that goes up for 20 minutes and
But
then
there's also like maybe 300 comics have opened for Mark Norman too.
right.
It's like very yeah. So I don't think that's bad.
It's not cheating. Okay.
No, I do know someone who did a Comedy Cellar class. I took one. You took one too, right?
Yeah, I did.
And they did the class show, and then they're using the Comedy Cellar as their credit.
No way.
But it's a class, not like it's not sanctioned by Comedy Cellar. It's just a class.
It's a bringer.
Yeah, and then they said they're the Comedy Cellar as their credit. So at least we're not doing that.
Yeah. Well, maybe I will. I didn't know I could add that.
Don't do that.
I'm not. I'm never going to do that. Well, that's cool.
You know who follows me on Twitter? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
No way.
Yeah, she does.
How long ago was that?
Like 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
How many people does she follow?
Let's go look it up right now.
I'm curious.
What's it be just 2 people, just me and her?
Imagine like she's just like
Joe Biden.
updated on your life.
Yeah.
What made her follow you? What was it?
I used to be a journalist, and I was very left wing.
Wow. So now you're just tweeting like my tits and ass.
Yeah,
She's like-
literally. I was like interviewing heads of state, and now I'm like, let me eat you. You know, like so weird. She follows 3,000 people. She has 13.3 million followers, and I see it says she follows me.
That's crazy. 3,000 is not a lot to be following.
Yeah, for that ratio. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. So book me on your tour.
My friend just texted me, still down to. I forgot. I said I'd rock climb with him today.
Oh, you do like things outside of comedy besides work. Mm-hmm. Like you play the piano.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, that's
I
about
play guitar,
it.
but
You just do really like sissy things, but that's cool. You know, it's
mountain
masculine.
climbing is masculine. I mean, this is my first time.
Because your head's a rock. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Nah, that's great.
I know you do. You know, sorry.
The only thing that can hurt me now is my lips.
You
so
look
we're
like
good.
Easter Island, like a statue that went to Warped Tour and found himself.
Dude, know what somebody
He's dying right now.
know what somebody said about Crispy yesterday? I said he
What?
should come to the Heckle mic because it was so good. He looks like a stagehand for the Wiggles.
Oh, I can see that. I
thought
can
was
see
good.
that.
Was good. Ah,
You
Crispy.
could replace any member of the Wiggles and no one would know.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's the aura I give off.
It's okay. I look like Olivia Munn if she got stung by bees. So that's what
great.
I know.
No.
Just
like,
give me an EpiPen. I'm all good to go.
the
you know?
writing's good. I'm not saying that.
Thank you. I know I'm funny, Sean.
Yeah.
You're the one who needs. Sorry, I'm being an asshole. You actually are a really good comedy writer.
Oh, thanks.
It's just everything else about you.
Yeah. Don't worry, I have the control of the edit of this, so
You do? Okay, you
it's just gonna be.
You
You're a
should
really
do-
good comedy
You
writer.
should do like a clock of how many times I've roasted you and within a 45-minute time span.
All right, Ben, you'll edit that if you want.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, things have been good. Thanks for asking.
Do you think you'd ever move to LA?
I like the city.
You do?
Yeah.
You're from New Jersey, so it's close to go.
Yeah,
for
and
you?
like when I went to LA once, it just felt kind of like Brooklyn with palm trees in the city area. The beach was cool, but the hills were kind of cool, but like almost spooky because they're just like facing the city, and it's like all the rich people, like a Mount Olympus, all
Yeah.
the gods are just watching you. So it's kind of weird, but
Because I feel like when I tell pro comics you should do the Heckle mic, they're like, "Oh, I don't do mics," and I'm like, "It's actually a show."
Right.
It just Heckle mic sounds more punchier than Heckle's show. It's like the hard consonant.
right. Well, I mean, because you have anybody could sign up, so it's like
That's true, but I'm gonna change it where I'm gonna like selectively pick who gets to go up. Because when it's the same people all the time, then it's like recyclable jokes. all
that
the
makes
time.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
So how do you like manage your time? Like right now, it's just comedy for me.
I try and do one mic a day. I do like editing when I get home. I don't go out after the mic.
Yeah, you don't. You did go out the one time. After
Not
the
a big
Heckle
go
mic.
outer. Yeah, the Heckle mic is because that's like it's
Yeah.
fun to be drunk there,
Yeah.
and then and I could like be like,
Every time I hang out with Sean with a bunch of people, he's just like, you're kind of like a little kid, and you're like, just like when a kid comes up to you, hey, look what I could do.
Yeah.
And he's like a TikTok dance. or
no,
something.
you said that because I came up to you. I was like, I love this song. I don't know what this
Every
is.
time the Beatles comes on.
No, it was like a random club song.
Oh,
I was
it
like,
was?
and I was like, this is great.
But I remember one time we were at Tile Bar and I put on the Beatles because you asked me to. And you're like, I'm not gonna leave until the Beatles are playing.
I did not say
Yes,
that.
you did. That was funny though.
Well, you know what does well is I would like to hear some stories from you. You got any good stories of as of late? Anything
Oh,
that's like
any crazy stories to tell? I gotta tell. Okay, here's a funny story. First time I ever learned how to drive. Well, I mean, like my mom was teaching me how to drive, and she has like a high temper. And my dad owns a dojo in Chicago, and we're practicing behind the dojo, and it's like in a strip mall. So there's all these other things, there's like a nail salon and everything. And so I'm learning how to reverse in the back parking lot. And I pull up to the parking space. My mom's like, okay, now you switch it to reverse. And I'm like trying to get acquainted, and I was taking forever. And mom was like, I said reverse, and I slammed the accelerator. It was still on drive, and I drove into the wall of the building.
No.
Into a nail salon.
That's amazing.
Isn't that crazy? That's how you know that I'm like a Muslim, Moroccan, Japanese person, because I'm an Asian woman and I don't know how to drive. So if I ever hijack a plane, it's an accident. I literally just committed a terrorist attack on accident, you know?
Your dad owns a dojo?
Yeah, he is. Very Asian of me, but he's not the Asian one.
Wait, and so what is he? What?
He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, sixth degree. He coached a lot
Jiu-Jitsu. That's like chokeholds and like...
Yeah, he had a lot of MMA fighters. We had like I don't know if you guys know who Damian Silva is in UFC, but he like stayed over my house for a while. I used to like, when I was like, what, 14 to like 16, I would like swim with him and like go in the sauna and train with him. But my dad would make him like try to race me, but he sucks. So at swimming. Did
you wrestled too, right?
I was more of a swimmer though.
But was it weird being a girl wrestling? Did people give you shit?
There was 2 other female wrestlers on the team.
Oh really?
Yeah. But I was the best one. So
yeah.
But because my dad is an MMA coach,
but
so I had experience.
Were the kids ever mean to you or anything?
No, they're pretty nice. It's weird though. Like a lot of guys who try to like act like, oh yeah, it's a girl, it must be easy to like be, and then they like oh shit, you know, like, oh Sarah, you're a beast, you're a killer, and I'm like, I'm trying to meet boys.
Why did that's why you did it?
No, I was like, I'm trying to be like a girly girl too. But
what grade did you stop?
You know, it's funny. My mom pulled me out before sectionals. It was junior year because I was a better swimmer. And the dream for them was for me to like go to the Olympics, which like I think kind of, I mean, everyone thinks it's feasible, but I was close to the Olympic trial cut and stuff like that. But
really,
but I pulled out sectionals because my mom was afraid I was going to get injured. So I just did swimming full time. What's crazy about swimming is I grew up in a strict Muslim family, and my dad made me wear a Speedo on top of my swimsuit because he didn't want people looking down there. But like a Speedo brief. But I feel like that makes people look at it more.
Yeah, because it's like, what is that?
No, it's like, is she hiding something? And
I'm confused. Why? What do you normally wear? What
like a one-piece swimsuit, like a normal swimsuit.
So it's like a little diaper on top of it. Yeah,
literally. And it's weird because like for some swimmers, like female swimmers do that, like a baggier Speedo because it creates drag. So whenever you swim at a race, you'll feel faster. But that's not the reason why my dad did that. For me, it was just to look like Barnacle Boy.
Wait, wouldn't the drag make you
fast? So it make you slower at practice, but then when you're swimming with like a drag resistance,
so you get stronger.
You get stronger, so it's faster when you're taking it off. But that's I never understood that, but that's what he made me do.
Do you do any of that stuff anymore?
No, I don't. It's actually, I cry every time I jump in the pool. I really sob.
Really?
Yeah. It's funny. Like, when I would go to the beach and I'll swim past like the line of swimming and they'd like whistle, the lifeguard whistle. I'm like, I'm crazy, but I am free. Just like, let me go.
But you still got all the
yeah, 'cause I used to swim like and close my eyes. Like I just sleep while swimming, like when I was a swimmer.
Yeah.
But now it's like muscle memory. I can still do butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. It's just a matter of like how fast, how hard I swim, and like how long. Like before I could like swim endlessly, but now I could probably do like, I think most 500 yards, which is like 20 laps on one go without.
Yeah, I tried out for lifeguarding when I was like in high school. Let me
guess, you failed.
Well, I got past the first round, and it's like, all right, you got to be able to go 500 meters swimming in the ocean. And I was like, okay, we did 150 on the tryout, and that was hard. And I did the 500, and I was like, I stopped, and the main lifeguard, came out on a jet ski, like swimming like next to me. He's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, you can just go back in. Like, you don't have to go the rest of the way. We're not using." He's like, "If you want, come back next week and try again." And I was like, that was crazy. The hardest thing I've ever had to do was swim that far.
It's I went to Maine and recently, and that was pretty fun. And we were in like the oceans there, and I was learning how to kayak and canoe. But a funny story is that there's two. One is that I wanted to swim in the ocean, but I didn't have a chance to like wax or shave my legs. And so my mom had a razor with her, and but it's weird because we were all camping outdoors, and it's part of the LL Bean Discovery Program. So there was like 20 other people. So and each two people have their own tent. So those are my sister, my mom was my dad. And at night you could hear everybody because it's just like the outdoors. It's quiet and
it's just cloth in front of each. Yeah.
In the middle of the night, my mom's like, Sarah, I have a shaver. You want to shave? I have a shaver for you. And I'm like, fuck, that's so
Everybody's in their tents listening.
I know. And I think it's a communal shower too. It's so embarrassing.
That's awesome.
I did shave though. So if you're wondering why there was like a black dog in your shower, it's me. I'm sorry.
They know because they heard it through the tent.
You know what's so embarrassing? Oh my God. Afterwards, we came back and then they said, oh my God, you guys are so lucky you missed it. There was a septic issue with the shower. And I'm like, please don't say it's my hairballs on it. I hope it's not. Like, it's not.
That's awful.
And my dad also, it's so funny because my dad's like this big, burly, like husky dude. Like MMA fighter, but he has the biggest anxiety about like the bodies of water.
Yeah.
Like he can swim in the beach, but like boats and stuff scares him. And so he went canoeing, and he went with my sister. And he sat in the front, she sat in the back, and he got in the front, and he just freaked out. So they literally got off like 10 yards, and they had to go back because like he couldn't handle it.
Really?
So they brought another instructor to go with them, and so he was in the middle with my sister and like the instructor, and it looked like he was getting rescued. Like he's big dude with a life jacket. He looked like the Pharaoh of the Nile, just like
That's awesome.
But it's so wild. He's like in the boat. He was like, I need to go to therapy. And he doesn't believe in mental illness, but he's like, I need to go to therapy.
Just so like that was his way of being like, no, like try to preserve his masculinity.
Exactly.
Like, oh, it's not me. Like,
no, it's just. And the lady, the instructor was like, oh, if you're scared of water, what else are you afraid of? He goes, escalators.
Really? Is he really?
Yeah. I'm like, it's so stupid.
Wow.
I don't know. It's like this guy has like beaten up every dude I've seen, like undefeated, and he's scared of water and escalators.
Moving stairs though, that's like
people die on it though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like if they like like 1 in like 3 billion.
Yeah.
One question that I think is interesting: who's an open micer that is like you think has a lot of potential?
There's a couple. Also, open micers are weird because I feel like I'm in between, and a lot of comics are in between that stage where they're like they do open mics to get better, but they still do a lot of shows and like are almost semi-pro. I want to say I think Nick Tallelli.
He's really good. I
don't feel like he gets a lot of credit that he deserves, not because like of anything he says, whatever. I just feel like, and I'm gonna sound like an asshole saying this. I do think that as a woman of color, I don't get a lot of opportunities. People think you do, but I honestly think I don't. And also because people, I don't know. I always see a lot of times like women or men surpass me, but I feel like a lot of times white men also don't get a lot of like the good ones. Like there's a lot of like white male comics who are really funny. Sorry, who are really famous, but they're not funny. You know what I mean? And I see so many who aren't famous, but they're like hilarious. But I think Nick Tallelli has a lot of potential to grow. Like he's a really great comic, great writer. And like also like a really genuine good dude.
Yeah, he's nice.
And it's hard to find comics. One thing I've noticed that like amongst the pros, like Comedy Cellar comics or people who like go on tour, they're really nice. Like they're like really friendly and helpful and kind. It's the ones who are like sometimes open micers or in between who aren't that funny, who are kind of like dicks.
Yeah.
But Nick has always been a nice person. I hope to see him like grow more.
Yeah, it's cool. People like everyone wants to network upwards, and it's like, well, that's not like you're supposed to go sideways,
right?
And down.
And a lot of it's funny how the comics who aren't funny are trying to get the shortcut.
Yeah.
Like and I don't understand how you could like open for someone and like bomb. Like I just don't understand how people can be comfortable with that.
Right. No lack of self-awareness.
I mean, you do that. So how is that like for you? I'm so sorry.
Biting the hand that feeds here
no,
with the pod.
We feed each other.
I know. Yeah, I think if I had to think about, thank you for asking, if I have an open micer.
Yeah, well, I don't really care about your opinion, but like,
yeah, okay.
No, I'm kidding. Who do you think is an open micer that?
Well, a lot of our friends, but John, I think, is really.
Ajoda?
Well, he's really funny, yeah. But
John Kennedy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, I love John, too. He's funny.
Well, I mean, you don't have to name every single person.
Oh, well, it's true. But John's like a good friend of mine, so I feel like I have to. He's also pretty nice.
He is,
I think so. So he's also nice asshole.
He was on this pod.
Also has a nice asshole. He's a nice asshole.
He's a favor asker.
Yeah.
He's a favor asker.
One of my favorite bits with John is that whenever I go to the bathroom, he knocks on the door and he's like, "Hey, don't flush."
Why?
Because he wants to eat it. Sorry, I laugh like a pterodactyl. But like,
Wow.
that's funny. Also, Tommy Bayer is pretty funny.
Tommy
My
is funny.
impression of Tommy on stage is like he just like talks with his hand like this.
Guys, we got to do this.
Yeah, you
this
gotta do
guys. Yeah.
I'm just trying to. I'm saying that like I don't want to take those hormone pills. So I could be the man that I could be. You know.
Yeah. Tommy's funny because he's like a lot of comedians will do this. Not even just like where they're like enter into a bit.
Yeah.
Like in convo.
Oh,
and they
yes.
keep it going.
Yes.
I'm not even saying Tommy does this, but like
He does do this.
Yeah.
He's like, my dad's a janitor. I have a lot of money because my dad's a janitor, my grandpa's a janitor, and his grandparents are a janitor. I'm like, we get it. You're a janitor.
No, him and Wolfgang will feed off each other.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, yes, and like I don't know how to like keep it going.
It's like it's no one. Tommy and Wolfgang will just do like I'm Daredevil, I'm Batman, and they're like
keep it going.
They're just like a racist Batman going back and forth.
When I first started doing open mics, like in college, I remember after it was outside Cellar 77, they would all these comedians would convene, and they would start just doing jokes at each other, and I'd be like, oh, we could just talk.
That's true. There was a guy who just moved to New York, and I don't know. I feel like when I get nervous when I see someone who's like good looking and like funny. So I was trying to be funny with them, and then the first thing I said to him was like, "Hey, do you know how to read?" Just flat out. It still hasn't proved to me that he knows how to read, but I don't know. It's just I feel like a lot of just comics' or natural instinct is to like be funny or do bits or poke fun, but sometimes it's tiring. Like sometimes just be a person.
Are your parents excited that you do comedy?
They haven't really seen a lot of my stuff, and I don't want them to.
But you're all over social media.
Yeah, but I blocked them.
Oh, okay.
But it's also like my parents are traditional like Japanese and Muslim parents, where they like you got to be a doctor or a lawyer. My parents are still telling me to go back to school, and they do think I'm funny, like for sure. They just don't know that like I have the look for it. They're very like I don't want to say superficial in the mean way, but they care about how society views me. So they're always like, I don't know if comedy is a thing for you, but try it. But like, get a real job first. But it's funny because I was like driving my dad from New York to Maine, and he was like cracking up because I was doing like my Japanese voice. I was like, Dad, why do Japanese people talk like I'm a samurai?
Yeah.
He was just like dying laughing.
He's the Japanese one, or he's
the Moroccan one.
Oh, okay.
And I was trying to do like what Arabic sounds like to American people. And it's like, it's so fucked up, but it's not funny. I'm working on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're allowed to do that.
I am allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I do Asian voice on stage, not to like make fun of the Asian accent, but to make fun of like racist people, But one thing I noticed is like really hard as like a woman of color or like just like a daughter of immigrants. Like when you're doing jokes about like your upbringing, sometimes I feel like the audience who are white are laughing at that and not laughing at like the absurdity of the racism behind it, Like I'll have a joke about how I got catcalled and these guys are like, oh, ayo, mamacita. And then they realize I'm Asian.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, ni hao ma.
Yeah.
And then I go, what do you want me to do? Come back and be like, oh, you know? And like, I do that accent to make fun of like the absurdity of that mentality, that logic that they had. But sometimes I'm worried that like the audience are like, aha, Asian boys, that's funny.
Yeah.
So that's like hard to kind of navigate, I think, to like write jokes for me and also have the audience know that it's for me. And like I still want them to laugh, but like laugh for the right reasons, I guess.
What do you think it is about doing in a voice, like an accent, that is like inherently offensive, or like is it like diminishing the...
It's not, I think for the thing, it's not accurate, And I think also too is that the way that Hollywood depicts Asians is a very emasculating in a way, and that perpetuates that. So like when I think like we have a mutual friend who does Asian voice on stage, they would do it and that's like fucked up because they're not Asian and like they're making fun of it. But I have a joke about like Latin kings, right? And here's my hot take actually. I think that if you look and pass as a certain race, you should be able to do that accent. because I get a lot of discrimination and microaggressions for people who assume that I'm Hispanic. So I have a joke about the Latin kings about how they sound so scary, but once you hear the nicknames they give each other, it's not scary at all.
Yeah.
Because you're like, hey, yo, I'm spooky. This is my friend Thumper. And this fool, yeah, he's bashful. Bash, FOOL, you know? And like, I think it's a funny joke. And like, someone told me, a comic, Ashley Gavin, who's like a great comic, she was like, that's a really good joke. I feel like you should try it out first without the accent, because maybe white people might be weirded out by laughing at the accent. And I was like, I guess I could see that. But she's like, she said, I don't think it's offensive or anything. I just feel like maybe people are scared about that. But I don't know. I think that's like my hot. And also, I'm not like really making fun of like the Hispanic community, immigrant community. I'm making fun of like, also in a way, I'm trying to like challenge like the Republican commentary on like how they view Mexican immigrants. They always say they're gangs and criminals and stuff like that. I'm like, how menacing are they if their names are like the Seven Dwarfs?
Well, yeah, but it's all and it's like if you're directly making fun of the gangs itself, so it's like
right. And it's also, I feel like pretty accurate. They do sound like that.
I don't know. Well, I've also
and these are all names I've heard of like actual, except for Bashful.
I mean, I've seen like Family Guy. They'll just straight up do shit that's like a joke, like funny but offensive, and
like the Palestinian alarm clock. It's like Allah, like Akbar.
Yeah, and it's like it's hilarious in that like if you're willing, like to me, it's almost like you should. The responsibility is maybe on the viewer to know. If you're going to watch comedy, know that this is a joke and this isn't shit that's going to be okay.
Yeah, you should be able to laugh at things and not get weirded out. Like I have a joke about being a sexual assault survivor, and I was just like telling Tommy the other day, it's like I use the word rape in the joke, and people always get so weirded out by hearing that word, but like it's something that happens, and like this is all I have. I have jokes. Like I got raped for this, you know, and like
that was the price you had to pay for the
like,
joke. Wow.
Like if you don't laugh, the rapists win, you know. But like I'm trying to do this thing where like because people are so scared that word, it's a hard word, that I'm gonna be like, I say date, you say rape.
Wow.
Audience, just to like loosen up, you know, and like maybe mellow a bit, or like, hey guys, so I got. Twice, you know. Like
and what makes it, at least funny to me in this moment is that it is such a hard, like it's like a terrible thing, but you're making it so like, say it with me.
Yeah,
like, you're making it like. That's what they say, making fun of. You're making fun out of something that is never fun, you know?
And people don't realize, like, people think, oh, rape jokes. But, like, this is a joke about me being a survivor. This is me taking back my own agency. Like, when I got sexually assaulted, those two men, like, took it away from me. You know what I mean? And so me telling this joke is, like, a way for me to, like, empower myself and like get my mojo back and like also demean them, and ridicule them. But I think people are so scared about that. I always tell them, no matter how hard you try not to laugh, that's not going to get me unraped. So just like
I think we've got enough of
rape stuff. Okay, we'll stop. But yeah, we should do like, hey, you say. Sorry, I'll stop. But
listeners at home,
know this.
Where
please.
you're driving, you're at work in the office, listening quietly. Shout it out.
That's pretty funny. First funny thing I heard you say.
Wow, Sarah, thanks.
No, one of my favorite jokes of yours was the ant joke, the Facebook one. But that's about it.
Thank you.
Just kidding. There's more, but I forgot.
Yeah. The new one I'm doing. Well, I'm not going to say
the bumper car one or the fender bender one.
That's actually did kind of well on YouTube so far.
Good for you. Yeah.
But no, I'm doing the Are We Dating the Same Guy one. I'm about to post. Yeah, I think I'm going to post it finally because I was like waiting to get a better clip of it.
But you're like all these jokes are making you come up like a creep though. A little bit.
I know. That's what I was worried about. I was worried about. Maybe I should I should bumper it.
Yeah, you should do jokes about how you respect women. You know, just bring a woman from the audience to tell a joke for you. Let women speak for you.
Yeah, I know. Okay, maybe I'll wait. I'll wait to post that one. Good thing you said that because I was going to go home and post.
I know
this.
you're not. Like, to everyone, he's not a creep. He's actually a great guy.
It's just fun to make things up.
Well, that's our podcast.
Yeah, I know.
That's your podcast. I'm sorry, I feel mean.
No, that's fine.
Rate 1 to 10 viewers of how well Sean
please don't
moderated this podcast.
Yeah, it's a tough. It's its own muscle that I'm figuring out. But
Yeah.
luckily, people come on and are nice, except for today.
I'm pretty nice. I
This
think.
is
I'm a nice asshole too. I feel like. That's
yeah.
the
No,
vibe.
you're nice. You just know how to roast a little.
Yeah.
What? Plug your stuff. Plug your stuff.
On Instagram, I'm at Sarah Amy Harbord. Same as TikTok, Twitter at Amy Harbord _. I got trolled by Nazis, so I had to change my thing.
On Twitter.
And then if you want to email me or page me, it's sorry, don't do that. Just follow me on TikTok. Come to the every Tuesday Shut Up and Laugh. Every Friday the Heckle Mic at Revision Lounge in East Village.
Hell yeah, folks.
Come roast Shamale too.
Yeah, I'll be there, and we're gonna have her on again, and I'm gonna blow her out of the water with humor.
Yeah, and roast too.
Yeah,
hopefully.
she's gonna be like, "What the hell?" I'm not even. Her mic's gonna be turned off.
that's fair.
So, all right.
Cool. Peace.